Ever notice how some companies just seem to like grow effortlessly?
Mm-hmm.
They attract customers like crazy, expand at an insane rate, and
Yeah.
everyone's always buzzing about them.
Right.
Today, we're going to take a deep dive into the secret sauce behind that kind of success,
Yeah.
business development.
Okay.
And let me tell you, it goes way beyond the typical sales and marketing stuff.
What's really interesting is that business development as a formal field
Yeah.
is relatively young.
Really?
Yeah, the first actual academic book about it was published in 2012.
Wow.
So before that, it was kind of this unspoken thing,
All
this force that was driving growth,
Okay.
but nobody really defined it.
So if we're moving past just the usual sales pitches and marketing campaigns,
Right.
what exactly is business development?
Well, at its core, it's all about building
Okay.
genuine, lasting trust with your customers
Uh-huh.
and with the community around your business.
So less about the hard sells,
Yeah.
more about nurturing relationships.
Exactly. It's about understanding that growth isn't about these quick wins.
Right.
It's about providing value that keeps people coming back for more.
It's about that long game.
Yeah, a holistic approach.
Makes sense. But when we talk about growth,
Okay.
what exactly are we talking about?
So there are 3 key areas.
Right.
Obviously, attracting new customers is one,
Makes sense.
but then turning those new customers
Yeah.
into repeat customers,
Okay.
loyal returning customers,
Gotcha.
and then finding ways to increase the value
Yeah.
you get from those existing customers.
So you got to cover all the bases.
You got it.
All right. So where do we even start with all this?
Well, there's this concept called the business development ecosystem.
Okay.
Think of it as a triangle, all right?
All right. I'm picturing it.
3 essential parts: your corporation, your community, and your customer.
Okay. So like 3 points of the triangle.
Yes, exactly.
And what's at the center of all that?
Right, the center of this ecosystem is your brand.
So the brand is the heart of it all,
It is.
but it's got to be more than just like a logo
Oh,
or a
absolutely.
catchy slogan, right?
It's the vessel, you know?
Okay.
It holds the trust that you're working so hard to build.
Uh-huh.
It's about the promises you make and, more importantly, the promises that you keep.
So every interaction, every experience shapes the brand.
Every single one. They all contribute to that reservoir of trust that you're building.
That makes me think about something we hear all the time,
Okay.
the importance of trust in business.
Yeah.
But how does that actually work in our brains?
All right. Get ready for a little neuroscience here.
I love this part.
Trust actually impacts our brain chemistry.
Seriously.
Oh, yeah. There's this small almond-shaped part of the brain
Uh-huh.
called the amygdala.
Okay.
It's our fight or flight center.
So like danger alarm bells.
Right. When we sense danger or distrust,
Okay.
the amygdala activates and tells us to back off.
So if a customer doesn't trust a company,
Mm-hmm.
their amygdala is basically saying, nope,
Exactly. It's sending out those warning signals.
makes them hesitant.
For sure. But here's where it gets really cool.
Yeah.
When we experience something positive,
Okay.
like a company keeps its promises, consistently delivers,
Yeah.
our brain releases oxytocin.
Ooh, I've heard of that one.
It's the hormone linked to affection,
Yeah.
bonding,
Here.
and of course, trust.
So more oxytocin, more trust, more happy customers.
That's the idea.
I'm seeing the connection here.
Good.
What about dopamine?
Yes. Dopamine is all about motivation and reward.
Okay.
When a company has a strong sense of purpose,
Yeah.
a reason for being beyond just, profits,
Right.
it actually triggers the release of dopamine.
Really?
Yeah, we feel connected to something bigger.
It's like Simon Sinek's start with why.
Exactly.
People don't just buy what you do, they buy why you do it.
And the best part, this isn't just some philosophical idea.
Right. Yeah.
There's data to back it up.
Oh, interesting.
Research shows that purpose-driven companies,
Okay.
like the ones in the Firms of Endearment study,
Huh.
they actually significantly outperform
Wow.
the companies that don't have a defined purpose.
So they're more profitable in the long run.
More profitable, higher growth, the whole package.
So we've got this powerful brain chemistry cocktail.
We do.
When a company gets it right, trust, connection, purpose.
It's a recipe for success.
But how do we keep that going? How do we make sure that trust just keeps growing?
That's where we get to the brand trust flywheel.
Okay, what's that?
It's a virtuous cycle, you know?
Okay.
You constantly create value for your customers. They trust you more.
Gotcha.
That trust leads to more engagement, more
Hmm.
purchases, more word-of-mouth recommendations.
It keeps building on itself,
And all that feeds back into building even greater trust.
like this upward spiral.
Exactly, an upward spiral.
I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together.
Good.
It's not just about closing the deal, it's about that foundation of trust.
You got it.
And it impacts every part of the business.
Every single part. And, you know, this flywheel effect,
Yeah.
it doesn't just impact your customers.
Really?
It has a huge effect on your employees, too.
Interesting.
When employees trust their leadership and believe in the company's purpose,
Okay.
they become like your most powerful advocates.
Because they really buy into it.
They do. They go above and beyond for the customers.
Makes sense. Employees can really make or break the experience.
They can. And there's research to show
Now,
that companies with highly engaged employees
okay.
see massive improvements in customer satisfaction,
Huh.
sales, even earnings per share.
Powerful stuff.
It is. Gallup found that companies with those super engaged workforces,
Yeah.
they outperform their peers by, get this, 147% in earnings per share.
That's wild.
And Temkin Group,
Okay.
they found that companies that really excel at customer experience,
Yeah.
they have 1.5 times more engaged employees than those with a poor customer experience.
So those engaged employees are key
Absolutely crucial.
for building trust and keeping that brand trust flywheel spinning.
You got it.
But what about the community?
Good question.
Where do they fit into all of this?
So think about the law of diffusion of innovation.
Yeah.
New ideas, products, they spread through a community,
What?
starting with a small group, those early adopters.
Like the trendsetters.
Exactly. They embrace new things first.
Okay.
And their opinions can really influence everyone else.
They're like the spark.
They are. Think about it. You'd have this brand new product.
Yeah.
A few key influencers start using it, sharing their positive experiences.
Uh-huh.
Boom, the buzz starts to build.
They get people excited about it.
They do. That's the power of those early adopters.
But how do you win them over in the first place?
You got to earn their trust, just like with your customers.
Makes sense.
But the approach is different.
How so?
Traditional advertising, it just doesn't work on them. They're too savvy. They value authenticity above all else.
You can't just throw money at the problem.
Nope, doesn't work. You need to build real relationships with them.
Okay.
Show them you share their values, believe in your purpose.
So it's about genuine connection.
It is. And the Edelman Trust Barometer,
Uh-huh.
they found that people trust their peers and people like themselves more than anything else.
More than any ad.
Exactly. And Wolar,
Okay.
they're an influencer marketing platform.
Yeah.
They found that influencer campaigns get 11 times higher ROI
Wow.
than any other digital media.
That's a huge difference.
And NeuroInsight, they found that influencer marketing
yeah.
delivers 4 times the brand message recall.
Well, people actually remember it.
Yes, compared to traditional advertising.
It's that human connection again.
It is. We're wired to trust people we admire.
I see that.
And get this.
What?
There's a study from the British Medical Journal
Okay.
that found that happiness is contagious.
No way, really?
Yeah, it spreads through social networks.
Like a virus.
Kind of, yeah.
That's fascinating.
So if you can build a community of happy customers
Yeah.
and happy influencers,
Right.
that positive energy spreads.
It attracts even more people.
Exactly.
It's like a positive feedback loop.
It is.
Trust and happiness, they feed off each other,
They do.
strengthening the brand.
It's a powerful dynamic.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm really seeing how trust,
Mhm.
employee engagement, and community, they all work together
They're all connected.
to drive that sustainable business growth.
Absolutely. And that's just the tip of the iceberg.
So much more to this.
There is. But for now, let's pause here and
Okay.
dive into some specific examples and strategies in the next part of our deep dive.
Sounds good. Ready for more. So we've been talking about trust, employee engagement,
Right?
and community and business development.
Yeah.
It's amazing how these things all work together
It really is.
to create that growth.
And as we go deeper, you'll see how each of these parts
Okay.
has its own like little details
All
and
right.
strategies.
Earlier, we talked about the business development ecosystem,
Right.
the corporation, community,
Yep.
customer,
Yep.
and brand at the center.
At the heart of it all.
How does that work in real life?
So let's start with the corporation itself.
Okay.
A company that's really focused on business development,
Uh-huh.
They understand that growth isn't just about, sales numbers.
Right.
It's about those genuine connections.
With everybody.
Yeah, employees, customers, the community.
So you're creating a culture of trust
Exactly.
and collaboration.
Inside and out.
So internally, that means what?
Empowering your employees.
Okay.
Encouraging open communication, providing opportunities for growth.
So they feel valued.
Exactly. When they feel valued and trusted,
Yeah.
they become those passionate advocates.
They'll go to bat for the company.
They will for the
Yeah.
company, the products, the services.
It makes sense.
But then how do you engage with the community?
The folks outside the company walls.
Right. That's where you really need to understand your audience
Okay.
and their values.
Like what's important to them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, think about Tom and Mess Shoes.
Okay. Yeah.
They've done this so well.
Uh-huh.
They build a social mission right into their business.
The whole buy one, give one thing.
Exactly. For every pair they sell, they donate a pair.
Powerful.
They've created this emotional connection with customers.
People feel good about buying from them.
They do. That purpose is woven right into the brand.
And it's driven their growth.
It really has. It resonates with people.
That's a great example.
So you see
Yeah.
that sense of purpose, it becomes a magnet.
Pull people in.
It attracts customers who share those values.
Uh-huh.
It inspires employees to be more engaged.
Because they're part of something bigger.
Exactly.
Everyone wins.
It's a win-win.
But how do you find those key influencers?
The people in the community who can spread the word, it's all about understanding your target audience.
Okay.
You need to know who has the influence.
Whose opinions matter.
Right. It's not just about followers on social media.
Right. It's got to be the right people
It's about finding the people who align with your value.
who can authentically
Yeah.
share your message.
Exactly.
So quality over quantity.
Yes. Think about micro-influencers.
Okay.
They might have a smaller following,
Yeah.
but they're super engaged.
It's a niche audience.
Right. And when you collaborate with them
Mhm.
on content that resonates with their people,
Okay.
it can be really effective.
Because it feels genuine.
Exactly. It's about relationships, not just transactions.
I see how this all connects back to trust.
It does. With employees, with customers, with the community.
Trust is at the heart of it.
It is. And remember, trust isn't built overnight.
It takes time.
It's a process. You got to deliver on your promises,
Oh.
exceed expectations, show you care.
Be consistent.
Yes, consistency is key.
We talked earlier about the neuroscience of trust,
We did.
the roles of oxytocin and dopamine.
Mhm.
You mentioned the home concept.
Right.
Can you explain that a bit more?
HOME stands for human oxytocin-mediated empathy.
Okay.
It's this feedback loop in our brains
Right.
that amplifies empathy and connection.
Interesting.
So when we experience trust,
Okay.
our brains release oxytocin,
Yeah.
and that oxytocin makes us more empathetic.
We connect with people more.
Right. And that increased empathy
Okay.
triggers the release of even more oxytocin.
Like a snowball effect.
It is. It's this upward spiral of trust and connection.
Trust builds on itself.
Exactly. And this is huge for businesses.
How so?
When companies are genuine
Uh-huh.
and they show empathy to their customers,
Okay.
it activates this home loop.
Customers feel understood.
They do. They feel valued. And that leads to more trust and loyalty.
It's not just about making the sale
It's not. It's about building that relationship.
based on respect and understanding.
Yes. And this goes back to purpose-driven businesses,
Right.
like Patagonia, for example.
Uh-huh.
They're all about environmental sustainability.
Yeah. They're known for that.
And that resonates with their customers.
People who care about the environment.
Exactly. It creates this strong sense of community.
And loyalty to the brand.
It's powerful.
It's like they're creating a movement.
They are. They're inviting customers to be part of something bigger.
And that's where the magic happens.
When you have that purpose,
Yeah.
that goes beyond profit. It draws people in.
Customers, employees, the community
It's like tapping into a collective desire.
to make a difference.
Exactly. And that shared purpose
Yeah.
can drive incredible growth.
This is eye-opening.
I'm glad.
I'm seeing business development in a whole new way.
It's more than just tactics.
It's about genuine connections and making a positive impact.
That's what it's all about.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
There's always more to learn.
Let's take a minute to think about what we've talked about
Yeah.
and how we can put these insights into action.
That's the important part.
Wow, we've covered so much ground in our look at business development,
We have.
from the science of trust to the power of purpose.
Yeah.
It's clear that this goes way beyond just closing deals.
Absolutely. It's about building connections, building a brand,
Uh-huh.
and making a real impact.
You asked earlier how business developers can use all this to create lasting success.
Right.
I'm really curious to hear what you think.
It's a great question. Because, understanding the ideas is one thing,
Right.
but putting them into practice, that's what really matters.
That's where the rubber meets the road.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's break it down into 3 key takeaways.
Okay, I like that. Actionable steps.
Things you can start doing today.
All right, lay it on me. What's the first one?
Building trust.
Okay, we've talked a lot about that.
It's the foundation of everything.
Yeah, it seems like it underlies all the other stuff.
It does. And it starts with truly understanding your customer.
Knowing their needs, what they want, what their problems are.
Exactly. Putting yourself in their shoes.
Empathy is key.
It is. And that's where the HOMAS concept comes in.
Right, the human oxytocin-mediated empathy.
When you show empathy, it releases oxytocin.
Makes people feel good.
It does. It strengthens the bond, but it also creates this ripple effect.
So it spreads outwards.
Yeah, it fosters a more trusting environment overall.
So it's not just about a one-time interaction.
Right. It's about building a culture of empathy.
That permeates the whole customer experience.
Exactly. Be human, be authentic.
Yeah,
Show them you care. That's how you build that lasting trust.
makes sense. What's the second takeaway?
Employee engagement.
Okay, our teams.
They're your biggest asset. They're the face of your company.
Interacting with customers.
Yeah.
Representing the brand.
Bringing that vision to life.
So we need to empower them.
We do. Make them feel valued.
Give them a voice, help them grow.
Exactly. Give them ownership. When employees are engaged and passionate,
Yeah.
it shows.
It comes through in everything they do,
It does. They become brand ambassadors.
not just clocking in and out.
Right. And that kind of authenticity is so powerful.
Engaged employees lead to happy customers.
They do. And happy customers lead to a thriving business.
It all comes back around.
Yeah.
What's our third takeaway?
Cultivating community.
Right. We talked about those early adopters and influencers.
They can be huge for spreading the word.
Yeah. Getting people excited about your brand.
But it's not just about finding people with big followings.
It's got to be the right people.
Exactly. People who align with your values.
So how do you do that?
Be authentic. Be transparent.
Mm-hmm.
Build real relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Create a community where people feel connected.
And valued.
Yes. Remember, happiness is contagious.
It spreads.
It does. Build a positive community, and that energy will attract more people.
So it's about creating a movement.
Exactly. More than just a customer base.
And that can lead to amazing results.
It can.
This has been such a great deep dive into business development.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
We've looked at the science, the strategies,
Yeah.
and the human side of it all.
That's what makes it so interesting.
To recap, our 3 key takeaways are building trust,
Number 1.
empowering employees,
Number 2.
and cultivating community.
Number 3.
By focusing on these things, business developers can build a strong foundation
Absolutely.
for growth and success.
And don't forget that brand trust flywheel.
Right. Keep it spinning.
Create value, exceed expectations, and build those connections.
This has been fantastic. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of business development. It's been a pleasure. We hope you've enjoyed the deep dive.
Keep learning, keep growing, and keep building those connections.